Poetic beats. Poetic beats.
This is First GenXers.
Poetic beats. Poetic beats.
All right, how y'all doing this week? It is us again, the one and only Dark Lord 100 and Mr. Rune Scryer, and we are bringing you the Cheap Pop Podcast. And unfortunately, we will be without Saint, aka Agent K28, this week, but he should be back next week. Nothing bad, all good.
Yeah.
He just won't be with us this week. So, another thing to think about, guys, you can find us on the Facebook.com Cheap Pop Podcast. You can find everything about it at the QR code in the upper left-hand corner of your screen for 2KK2network.com. All right, Dave. So, again, these are questions that should be in your wheelhouse for the pop culture quiz, but we shall see. So let's start with the first question for the opening segment, and that is, in The Usual Suspects in 1995 movie Usual Suspects, what item does Verbal Kent drop at the end of the film that reveals his true identity as Kaiser Sose? I'll let you think on that for about 20 minutes here, and we'll get to the first subject of our show. That first subject being that Target, after we talked about a couple of weeks ago, Costco removing all Xbox stock from their stores. Now Target seems to be following suit.
Yeah.
Due to Trump's tariff price increase. Target trying to look out for their customers or just trying to avoid the backlash. Either way, I'm good with it. But yeah.
Well, and also not just the government tariffs, but the complete pricing uncertainty from Microsoft themselves, especially around Game Pass and other things. So this is kind of, it's not all Microsoft's fault, and it's not all the government's fault. It's
a combination. Both. It's a perfect storm of both.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, man, I'm glad I already have mine.
Yeah.
And I hope this doesn't. I hope this doesn't extend to when
Xbox Ally.
What? Yeah, when the next Xbox comes out. Because
it's supposed to be the Xbox Ally, which is the handheld from Asus and Microsoft.
Let me guess. The handheld will work in conjunction with your Series S, X, whichever one you have.
We'll see.
All right. All right. So other than that, let's see, what do we have? The next hot topic is DC officially confirms Bane for Batman's next movie. And you're like, wait a minute. Nobody said nothing about who the villain's going to be in The Brave and the Bold. That's because this is not for The Brave and the Bold. This is, I guess, for a lie.
This is going to be for the 4 4-movie adaptation of the classic Batman story arc, Nightfall, where Bane gets introduced. So, 4 movies to adapt the Nightfall storyline, which is where Bane breaks every
all-electric SUV.
villain out of Arkham to overwhelm Batman, and then trashes Batman, breaking his back.
Oh, that's the storyline in which he snaps
Yep.
Batman in half.
Yep. Yep.
So all right.
So now the only question is, are we going to have the full adaptation, which means that Azrael takes over as Batman in the extreme edgy 90s bat power armor suit? Literally edgy.
90s. Yeah.
So
Wait. What? Hold on. What did you say the name of the costume was?
the 90s Azrael. Hold on a second. Let me see if I can just pull this up real quick.
That's what I'm trying to do myself.
Just do a Google image search for Azrael Nightfall bat suit.
Oh God. Hold on, I got it. Let's see. Actually, let's do this. Okay, hold on. Here we go. There we go. There we go. All right.
Yeah, because there's a whole.
There we go.
Yeah, there's a whole thing of background needed for Azrael, so that people understand exactly what's going on, who the hell this guy is. Yeah.
Like no, that's interesting. It's an interesting look. Like I remember when Batman switched this look.
Yeah.
A little bit.
That was the 90s, and
yeah,
that's all. Those are all blades on there, man. He was cutting bitches in half.
Oh, shit. It's my sister.
I mean, it's pretty much peak 90s character suit design. You know, all.
Oh yeah. Like 100%. Like. Yeah. No. It's like it's a, like you said, very very 90s. What looks like to me really is a bad hybrid of Terry McGinnis and Bruce Wayne.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not a very well thought out costume.
Yeah.
You kind of stand out when you fall from the sky wearing something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah. But needless to say, in the Nightfall series, we're going to get Bane. I've always been a fan of Bane, particularly Tom Hardy.
When he's done right.
Yeah.
When Bane's done right. When he's just like, you know, Jeep Swenson with coloring and, you know, no lines. No, that's not really Bane. He is highly educated. He is intelligent.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, for me, peak Bane isn't even Tom Hardy in the Dark Knight series.
Right.
Because even then, that was kind of not a great performance. I mean, we're talking Danny Trejo in Young Justice voicing Bane.
Okay. I can feel what you're saying.
Yeah.
I am more solely, like I said, Tom Hardy had a bunch of great one-liners, and I love.
Yeah, there were great lines, but it just wasn't.
Yeah.
It was all right.
I'll say all right. So that will bring us back to our pop culture question.
Yeah.
And in the 1995 movie, The Usual Suspects, what item does Verbal Kent drop at the end of the film that reveals his true identity as Kaiser Soze?
Well, that's supposed to be the coffee mug, but it's actually Dave Coulion who accidentally knocks a coffee mug off and it shatters, revealing the name Kobayashi as the coffee mugs manufacturer, which was the name that Verbal Kint used for the fixer for Kaiser Soze. And that's when he starts noticing all of the connections that Kint was using in Collier's office to pick up names, descriptions, places, and everything like that to make it seem like it's just an organic memories that he's spouting out.
Okay. The answer that I was given was a gold cigarette lighter. Yeah. Yeah. Been a long time since I saw
No.
the movie, so.
Yeah, no, that's how he. We don't really see who drops the gold cigarette lighter, which starts to blaze on the boat, but okay. That's why you don't go to AI for your trivia questions.
You'd be surprised how many times they're right versus wrong. All right, so that takes us into our next segment, which is, of course, as it said, Pop Culture Corner. And we will get with this next pop culture quiz question. And that is, Parao, in the 1999 movie Fight Club, what is the name of the airline company featured throughout the movie? We'll get to that at the end of the segment. Let's first bring up the fact that at New York City Comic-Con, I believe it was, Nickelodeon unleashed the new Avatar: The Last Airbender Chewie tune.
That's right.
Is this going to be in like comic book form, or is
No, this is going to be a web series that Nickelodeon is doing, and for those of you who don't speak otaku, chibi are the little miniature-sized, super deformed with big head versions of characters. So it's just going to be really silly and fun. And it's available now on Nickelodeon's Avatar: The Last Airbender YouTube channel.
Yeah. That's what we're talking about when he talks about chibi.
Yeah.
Small bodies, big heads, big expressions.
Yeah. Yep.
So
you're going to see classic tales from the Aang Gang, but in chibi form, reimagined.
I'll tell you exactly what I want. Give me that that fight with the fire with the Fire Lord from the final episode. Give me that in chibi form. I'm here for it. I'm here for it.
Yeah.
All right. So congrats to Nickelodeon on milking the Avatar: The Last Airbender cow a little bit more.
It's Paramount. They don't know how to do anything other than milk.
But hey, if it's making money for you from a business standpoint.
Yeah.
All right, here's another one brought to us. Maybe you can fill us in. 51-year-old comic book brand files Chapter 7 bankruptcy and are liquidating their assets. What would the name of this company be?
Okay. Well, this is going to be. Hold on, let me. Oh, yeah, I already had that pulled up. Oh, that should be. Sorry, I had to open it in a incognito window. This is the French comic book company Humanoids, which most American audiences are not going to be familiar with Humanoids because they're exclusively French. But they do send out stuff into America.
Gotcha.
And they were they've been responsible for the best in French comics. They were the first company to do stuff by Mobius, Jodorowsky. They've got his and Mobius's great epic comic book series, The Incal. They're the publisher of that. And they also published a little comics anthology magazine called Metal Hurlant, which became known in the U.S. as Heavy Metal.
Heavy metal. Oh, the animated, what you call it, heavy metal?
Yeah, well,
Bunch of
that's what
trippy
most
ass
people
stories.
know Heavy Metal as. But yeah, the mature adult comic book anthology series Heavy Metal
Yes.
is the American version, and it really sucks because they were just trying to launch a new um, Metal Hurlant Heavy Metal. They had done a successful Kickstarter, but sadly, they are a casualty of the Diamond distribution debacle.
Wow.
Yeah,
They lost a lot of money in that, huh?
they lost. They're losing a lot of money on that.
Well, salute to them.
Yeah.
And may the pieces of what was turn into something new and like a phoenix grow from the ashes. Something just as awesome, but just a new name. We'll see. We'll see. All right, so this is the story I was kind of looking forward to talking about here.
Yeah.
That is the one and only Jim Carrey coming off of the killer job he did as the what you call it in the Sonic movies.
Dr. Robotnik.
Dr. Robotnik and Dr. Robotnik's dad. But after that amazing job, he is now going to remake a beloved 60s, or not remake, but do a live action version of a beloved 60s cartoon. And I bet you'll never guess what, I know you know what it is. I bet you all out there could never guess what it is. When I saw this, I was excited. I don't know about you, but as it is right now, Jim Carrey is talking about making a live action version of the Jetsons. I'm here for it.
Yes. George Jetson.
Yep. Yeah,
So,
like,
and
go ahead.
and I'm hoping we get Danny DeVito or Peter Dinklage as Mr. Spacely.
Yeah, basically. I would prefer Danny DeVito, but Peter
Yeah.
Dinklage could do it too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Mr. Spacely. I'm like, and here's the thing I like about it: CGI and even practical effects have come so far that you could very easily do the intro like frame for frame.
Yep.
Like you could very well easily do the intro frame for frame. So,
Yep.
come on, y'all, don't let me down.
Do not let us down at all on this.
And with George as
Don't make another
as,
Flintstone. Don't make another Flintstones Viva Rock Vegas.
yeah, that was not good.
Yeah. The first Flintstones, it was okay. It was decent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The first Flintstones felt like an hour and a half long episode of the Flintstones.
Right.
To put it best, Viva Rock Vegas felt like it was just forced.
And you realize we're something like 20 years past the Jetsons original timeline.
Really?
Yeah. It was
That
like
was supposed to be
2000,
2005, huh?
2000, yeah, early 2000s, I think. And then once we got towards that point, they pushed it to like 2080s.
Because I was gonna say, if the original timeline was 2005, then the way they should do it is do it instead of doing it with all the futuristic shit. Do it set specifically in 2005, like just the world as it is today. So George is driving a car instead of driving a flying car. He doesn't live up in the sky. He has a 3-bedroom house in suburbia or something.
No. It's all dream sequences. As George remains a wage slave, and everything that's futuristic is just him daydreaming about living in the future, wishing that he was in the future.
That would be pretty dope. I can see
Yeah.
that. I can see that. All right. So the next story that is up is according to bleedingcool.com.
Yeah.
Season 2 of Batman Caped Crusaders offers a very different take on the Joker. What would that be, sir?
Well, first of all, we're getting season 2 of the really fantastic Caped Crusader. I think we're all 3 for 3 in saying that this was really great. Um,
Yeah, I liked it.
yeah, fantastic. They did a great job with the different version of Harley Quinn and the Penguin. Um, so this is going to be
Huh.
sorry.
Basically, it's saying the
They
post.
don't really say. They tease that it's going to be different for people
Yeah,
who think that Joker is only Jack Nicholson or even Mark Hamill.
right.
But it's still going to be recognizable to fans of the comics.
Right. According to this, it is a deep comic lore version of
Yeah.
the Joker. So if you've been a fan of Batman since damn near the beginning, it would be pretty good to go on ahead and check out season 2 of the Batman Caped Crusader. That's on Prime, right?
Yes, it is.
And my biggest if right now, just to kind of go off on a slight tangent, is there going when can we expect a Invincible season? I think what is it 3?
Oh no, they're way past that. Hold on a second.
No, oh, season 3 premiered on February 6, 2025. So we're looking
going
for
for
season 4. March 2026.
Yep.
I hope so. Because that's one of my favorite shows there. Like Invincible is definitely amazing. All right. So last subject of Pop Culture Corner here, at least for right now. We'll find
And
some.
we are speeding along.
Yes, we are.
We're
Top
more
Gun
efficient
Maverick.
without Saint. I'm telling you.
What's up?
We're more efficient without Saint. I'm telling you.
Top Gun
The
Maverick
old
star.
man slowing us down. Okay.
Top Gun Maverick star. They're saying it's being singled out as a really, really good choice to play this man. And what they're saying is, yes,
they're saying Glenn Powell.
Powell, yes,
whose stars in Ascendancy in Hollywood, and this is the original '70s Richard Rider Nova, the human rocket.
Can't wait to see it.
Who, not in addition to the '70s, folks our age who are comic fans will recognize him as the Nova from the New Warriors in the '90s. Yeah. So the Marvel Cinematic Universe is looking to finally make good on the promise we've had from the first Guardians of the Galaxy film with the Nova Corps of Xandar.
Okay. Now the Nova Corps was the one that had they had all the ships that were trying to stop Ronin's ship from getting into the.
That was how they modified it. Okay. So we'll see how it turns out. This has been long overdue, really. And Marvel, the comics have so much territory to cover in space, not just Guardians of the Galaxy.
Right.
Not just Captain Marvel.
The entire universe is out there.
Yeah. We've got so much stuff to go on in space. And Nova's a key part of that, cosmic side of Marvel that we've just never really gotten they've just been dipping their toes into the space portion of the Marvel universe. We got some Thanos, we got some Kree, we got some Skrulls, but they don't show up nearly as often or have as much as they do in the comics.
Right. Huh. Like, well, no, yeah, and I think okay. If I were to say Marvel went wrong anywhere, it's this. They tried to do too much at once, which is why I agree with Kevin Feige and the less is more is their strategy moving forward.
Right.
They're not going to try to have 5 TV shows and 6 movies come out the same year.
Right. I thought that I could see what Kevin Feige had in mind with the Disney Plus series when WandaVision came out. Okay. Oh, these are going to be the occasional limited edition, 4, 6 issue series that get published to tell a side story, to test out new writers, or to put out a concept that they don't want to interrupt the main comic book run to do.
Right. And I can, and actually it would work as that. Like, again, this is why originally and in the early stages, the Disney Plus series were so successful, because you had Moon Knight, which was just a little story on its own. You had stories that were entrenched in the overall MCU, but were not a direct A to B effect, part of the main storylines, that were going on. And I thought that if they kept it like that, where these are just side stories, which basically, to me, that's what the Luke Cage, Jessica Jones, Iron Fist, Daredevil stories were, is that these were just side stories to the overall story.
Well, and there's other stuff that I'm not going to get into a rant on about the Netflix stuff. But and then, of course, the corporate greed happened, and now, like I said, I think last week, Disney really needs to put out a Marvel end of the year review show, as special on Disney Plus, just to recap what happened in the Marvel universe, in movies and TV series, because it is turning into the casual fans expecting to be collectors, which they're not. And it's just, it's so hard for the average person to keep track of all these intermixing storylines. Whereas, comic book fans are like, yeah, this is what it's like for us.
Well, I think that it depends. I agree with you to an extent, but I think what it's being, I don't know, because like I said, Kevin Feige is talking about reeling it back. I'm not saying that the end of year recap is a bad idea. I just wonder if it's necessary, because here's the thing with it. If the TV shows are supposed to be one-offs, then you don't have to watch them to keep up with what's going on.
I understand. Yeah.
Movies. You know what I'm saying? If you want to keep up with what's going on.
I get what you're saying in there. I do.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's really a choice of how much of this you want to consume. Right. Really, feasibly, there's not enough time in the year. Not really, but there's not enough time in the year to watch everything. You know what I'm saying? But you catch what you can. And you can stay up to date by just reading spoilers or whatever about the other stuff. And I get what you're saying about end of season will be great for the casual fan. Yeah. But I don't know. Like I said, I think they do sort of have stuff like that in the sense of podcasters, so on and so forth. Find your favorite Marvel podcast. And trust me, at the end of the year, they'll recap what all the big stories were in Marvel and keep up that way. But I don't know. Like, I don't know about, like, you could have somebody just edit together a video. It wouldn't cost that much on the production side.
I see what you're saying. But that does go against the mentality of the comics industry, and also the mentality of the entertainment industry at large.
Right.
I mean, you and I remember when, back in the 90s, when the Fantastic Four, Reed, Sue, Johnny, and Ben were missing, and there was a couple issues of Fantastic Four featuring an impromptu group that was the Hulk, Ghost Rider, Wolverine,
Oh
and
my
I can't remember who the fourth one was.
yeah. I think I
Yeah,
remember that. Yeah,
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 it was like 2 or 3 issues, and all that it was it's just hey, we need these big name uh, guys to come in, prop up the sales for the books, uh, and for the while. That's the same thing that um, the tie-ins do. It's the same thing for Acts of Vengeance, which was a fantastic storyline in the 90s, um, where it was 1 or 2 issues of every title crossing over with each other. So if you wanted to keep up with the main storyline,
yeah.
you had to buy comics
Sound
that you were not necessarily interested in.
like Age of Apocalypse. That whole
Yeah,
series in the 90s, you had to buy like the first 3 issues, like 1, 2, and 3 of each individual comic that was there. I have almost a complete collection. I think I'm missing Omega, which was the final issue, and I think I'm missing like 2 other issues.
yeah.
I have them in my storage. But anyway, but yeah, so like I get what, like I said, I think there is a middle ground somewhere in there, and I think initially people were pretty happy with keeping up, and I think they even did a better job when they took Agents of Shield and made it its own thing. They stopped trying to connect it to every Marvel movie that was coming out and made
Well,
it its own thing.
yeah, but that was more because of the internal issues at um, inside Marvel's leadership than anything else.
Yeah.
That's where the disconnect with Agents of Shield and Netflix happened.
Well, no, not necessarily Agents of Shield
They
Netflix.
weren't
I'm just saying Agents of Shield in the overall MCU. Like,
right,
if you remember the first 2 seasons of Agents of Shield, there were major Marvel movies that came out. I believe one was Thor: Dark World.
right, but
Then I forget what the other one was, but both, Captain America: Winter Soldier, both tied into specific episodes of Agents of Shield. But
right,
Agents of Shield never drifted so far into the MCU that one of the major players in the MCU, Robert Downey, Chris Pratt, you know what I'm saying, Mark Ruffalo, none of them made appearances on Agents of Shield. But Agents of
right.
Shield had a lot of side characters like Lady Sif from the Thor franchise
Mhm.
that made appearances on Agents of Shield. It was a perfect blend of it being its own thing, but still having this tie. And then
Right.
by the time you get to, I want to say it stays with it. I want to say by the time you get to Age of Ultron,
Mhm.
Agents of Shield starts veering off and kind of becoming its own thing. Like
Right.
it no longer ties into. I think they only mentioned once the whole snap with Thanos and everything in the final season.
Mhm. Yeah. And
So
but what I'm saying is that was um, necessity being the mother of invention.
mm,
Whereas the problem was the internal dynamics of Marvel Studios, the internal power dynamics created the split. And they're like, okay, so how are we going to work this?
yeah.
Work this out.
Well, okay.
So
All right.
yeah,
Well, like I said, however it happened, right on that it happened. Like it
yeah,
was a good choice because, like I said, it made Agents of Shield its own thing, another IP in the Marvel
yeah.
universe instead of just this carrier IP to the movies. Uh, I think that they've done pretty well, actually, really well with the TV series. As much as people complain about certain ones, like Ms. Marvel was great.
Yeah, it was Miss
Like
Marvel was fantastic. She-Hulk
yeah,
was great. I
yeah,
mean,
She Hulk was great. Like
yeah, the only real issues I think were uh, it's all part of the having to stumble and juggle to get the plot back after Chadwick Boseman's passing and after um, Jonathan Majors scandal broke.
yeah.
So it's
It's
It is what it is.
and
So
we'll see what it is moving forward. All right, so real quick, random pop culture fact to kind of make you laugh or make you think is that what is it? Oh no, sorry. And Michael J. Fox reflects on Back to the Future in his memoir, Fan Future Boy, Back to the Future and My Journey Through Space-Time Continuum. The actor recalled how his life changed dramatically after taking the lead role. Fox describes a Christmas with his family in 1984 as his last brush with the old world before the film's release. So Michael J. Fox reminiscing about basically the last family Christmas he got to have before he became one of the most sought after actors in the U.S. for like the next decade.
right.
So we did lose broken Ace Frehley from
Ace
Kiss.
Frehley of Kiss, yeah.
Unfortunately passed away. For those of you who don't know who Kiss is, I need to hold up. Let me lift up this rock for you. Let's move all your stuff out from underneath the rock.
For those who don't know who Kiss is, for the few people under that rock, they're boomer juggalos. Am I wrong?
I would say that's a fair, accurate representation.
Yeah.
I like their music though.
It's fun, yeah. I mean, lots of classic stuff.
Rock and roll all night. That's
not a particular fan of Gene Simmons, you know, who never met a monetization scheme that he didn't like. You can literally buy Kiss branded coffins.
Hey,
but
when it comes to the business, you can't have shame because if you do, unfortunately, you lose money.
But full prop to Gene Simmons for starring in the live action adaptation of an anime that actually parodies Kiss.
Nice.
Yes.
He can laugh at himself.
He starred as the parody of himself.
Yeah. Like he can laugh at himself. That's important.
Yeah.
Especially
so that was good. But yeah. Thanks for the guitar licks, Ace.
Yes.
We're gonna miss you. You definitely kept rock alive during the 70s.
Yeah. And lady, like, cause I remember being a fan of liking Kiss music. Didn't necessarily listen to it a lot in my house, but the songs that I heard, like, I could get into them. Like I said, rock and roll all night. Let's go. But let's get back to that pop culture quiz before we round out this segment. In the 1999 movie Fight Club, what is the name of the airline company featured throughout the movie?
I know it's not Oceanic because that's lost. Part of me wants to say Transglobal.
Close. Well, actually, not even close.
Sorry.
Braniff Airlines. Braniff Airlines was the answer we were looking for. So, all right, y'all. That's going to do it for the first half of the show. We will be back with the second half of the show where we talk a little wrestling and video games, and then we tell you where you can find us next and what should be a fun and epic second half of the Cheap Pop Podcast. We will see you guys for SmackDown Alley and video game talk.
This is now versus then. This is now versus then.
Get on your mark, let's go. This is now versus then. Burning up your radio, still turning up the heat with Poetic on the flow. Got you moving to the beats with the Saint as your host. Shout out the collective, hold it down, we gon' clown, that's the lesson. Where Generation X meets Generation Next, with them bangers from the east to the south to the west. Yeah, this how we do it in Sacktown. Slide to the studio, yup, it goes down.
Everybody fall through.
These beats gon' pound. Waking the game up, told you it goes down. And this is only the intro. Turn the mics on, shout out to my kinfolk. Where you at, y'all? Let's get this started. Turn down for what? We about to start the party. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go.
This is now versus then. This is now versus then. This is now versus then. This is now versus then.
Make it do something. No balls for me, cause I'm a loose cannon. I get to choose, camera switch it up, look up a new banner. Keep smoking on that banner.
So we're gonna get to talking some NBA free agency. Dolphins trade Jalen Ramsey. Anyway, so we'll start out with
they say that beauty is in the eye of the beholder. But the definition of beauty is distorted. Yeah. Come on. Searching for yourself, so insecure about the way you look, so you go to Miami. You can't find the love within yourself.
All of that said, it was not heard. I said, and if you want to check out everything Cheap Pop Podcast, you can go to the show page at the QR code over there, 2KK2network.com. All right. Now we jump into what is my favorite alley to walk down, which is all right. So welcome to SmackDown Alley. And as always, like every segment, we're going to open up with the pop culture quiz. In the 1999 movie The Sixth Sense, what detail throughout the movie subtly indicates that Bruce Willis's character is dead? Think about it, and we'll get back to it. This week, as is every week, since I was about, 14, 15 years old, there was again a Monday Night Raw. This time on Netflix. We had some pretty good stuff going on. We opened up the show with Seth Rollins giving his, we're on top, we're the baddest, so on and so forth speech, and then leaving the ring. Talks about how he doesn't need the guys that are next to him. He wants them there. How they didn't need him. They wanted to be there. Which we did. Anyway, so needless to say, this wasn't the best night, but we had a few moments throughout the show when Seth Rollins and the Vision made the show interesting. Let's see. They closed the night with a number one contenders match between Punk, Jey Uso, and who else?
L.A. Knight.
L.A. Knight. Yeah. But I'll say this: the match itself was pretty good. Of course, those three guys gave us their all. My favorite part about it was when Punk's music hits or goes down, and the entire crowd proceeds to continue singing it through to its chorus.
Yeah.
It was a moment. It was a CM Punk moment. And we've had quite a few of those since he's been back for the past couple of years. So, but the triple threat match was really good. It ended with, who was it? Yeah, Punk winning clean. Jey Uso hit LA Knight with a splash, but Punk caught Uso with the GTS to win the match. So, congratulations to CM Punk.
Yep.
But it was kind of what happened afterwards.
Yeah.
That everybody was talking
that
about.
Stole the scene.
Yeah. As Seth Rollins and the Vision come out. And I believe that, don't they beat up, what you call it?
What they did was,
I want to say they beat up Punk first.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Again,
then,
my brain is trying to remember.
No problem.
Yeah.
So like after Punk won the main event match, celebratory Rollins came to taunt him in the ring. Rollins was joined by his new stable. Breaker then speared Rollins. Oh, that was the next thing. So after they beat up CM Punk, Rollins is cheering and what happens? Literally, hey, what's up, Tech Tinkers? Welcome to the show.
Exactly.
What happens? Rollins gets speared out of his shoes
by Braun Breaker.
Yeah, and Braun Breaker proceeds to look at Bronson Reed and basically say to him, either you're with me or you're against me. And Breaker and Bronson Reed decided to join him and hit Seth Rollins with a tsunami.
Yep.
And to which he looked at Paul Heyman and said, you're either with me or you're in my way.
Yeah.
And Paul Heyman said, I'm with you, boss. Like
yep.
a good little Paul Heyman does.
Yeah.
So yeah, that is how we ended Raw. We'll go back and look at a couple other things that happened as well. But that's how we ended Raw, with Braun Breaker, Paul Heyman, and Bronson Reed standing over a prone Seth Rollins.
Yep.
So
we definitely. I kind of called it after Crown Jewel, with all the little hints that they were dropping that the Vision was going to break apart. It didn't happen the way that I thought it, because I thought that Paul Heyman would be convincing the Brawns to turn on Seth. But hey, we love self-starters.
Yeah. Well, I'm interested to see where they were going to go. I know what the
Yeah.
original plan was, and I'm interested to see where they're going to go.
Yeah, I agree with what you were saying when I've been advancing this theory that it's too soon, but I think that it's sort of a course correction for the popularity that Braun and Bronson have gotten really quickly. And
Okay. The pivot comes from the fact that Seth Rollins needs surgery, and he's probably going to be out.
okay. Now that I didn't know.
Yeah. The swerve comes from the fact that coming up suddenly, because that's why I said I have an idea of what the original. Most of the reports that I've been reading have been that the original plan was for them to capture the tag team titles, and then the three of them to hold belts basically through WrestleMania. So Seth's surgery changed all of that, and so it accelerated the timeline. But here we are. Braun and Braun are now their own thing. Seth is going to go on the shelf because he's attacked, and we're going to see how creative books them moving forward. Like, are both Braun and Bronson Reed going to be going after singles titles, or are they both going to go after the tag team title, or are they going to try to do? And I'm not saying they will, but are they going to try to do a what was that called? Two-man ego trip is what it was. It was was that the name of it? The two-man ego trip when Stone Cold Triple H. Yeah, when they basically won every singles belt you could win in WWF. Like one of them had the heavyweight title, the other one had the Intercontinental title. Somebody had the European title, and they had the tag team titles. Like they just had everything between them. Like they could do a storyline like that with Braun and Braun. But I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah. So, we'll see where they go with it. Do we know what Seth is getting surgery for?
Shoulder.
Okay.
Shoulder. Yeah. Like I said, I don't know if he's going to be out for an extended period of time. I just know obviously it's going to be a long enough time that they change gears.
Yeah.
And they have this happen sooner.
Hope that all goes well for him.
Yeah, 100%. All right, so next up, just some tidbits from Raw. Dominic Mysterio defeated Penta to retain his Intercontinental Championship. Rusev got in, which I think they're setting up for a triple threat match between Rusev, Penta, and Dominic. And I'm keeping my fingers crossed that this is where Penta wins his first Intercontinental Championship.
Yeah.
Because I would love to see him do that. But if not him, then at least Rusev. As long as Dominic Mysterio doesn't stay walking out as a double champ. Boo! In another storyline tied to the Braun and Braun storyline, you have Bronson Reed beat Jimmy Uso, and then they went to go destroy him after the match. And of course, his brother, who had behind the scenes, told him, like, you on your own, I got to focus on me. Jay came out to help, got himself a little banged up. And, that may have been part of the reason why he loses in the number one contenders match in the main event. Maybe. Bailey and Lyra Valkyria defeated Roxanne Perez and Raquel Rodriguez in their ongoing feud, which I'm loving this Bailey. I love this match because it had the moment when Lyra Valkyria slaps the shit out of Bailey, and that wakes her up where she goes berserk. And just destroys Raquel and Roxanne and gets the victory. Like she activated Badass Baby. Like that shit was nice.
Yeah.
I like what they were doing there.
Yeah. That was a pretty good. That was a great tag team match, and definitely the great chemistry between Lyra and Bailey.
That's right. And then last but not least, Rhea Ripley defeated Kairi Sane, but was attacked by the Kabuki Warriors.
Yeah.
In a match on Raw. And they laid out Ripley on the announce table, putting it together. Oh yeah.
Yeah, I'm all in for Rio, the Rhea Io combination.
Rio. You know that's actually the name of an AEW wrestler, right?
No, I didn't know that.
Yes. Hold on. Keep talking, and I'll pull up a picture of her.
Yeah. So, but there was it was good match. Again, more showing off of Kyrie's confliction between. She wasn't that conflicted going up against Rhea Ripley, but again, it's Asuka tossing her into the deep zone without telling her anything.
Yeah. This is Rio. She's a wrestler from New Japan. And she wrestles for AEW. She was one of their first, I want to say their inaugural. Was she the first women's champion? Rhea. From the early days of AEW, yeah. I want to say she's the first women's champion. She's like 5'3", like maybe weighs 95 pounds soaking wet.
Mm-hmm.
But a great competitor.
Yeah.
Great competitor.
Yeah. That's the thing that when you look at different sporting, and just sizes that fall into certain phenotypes.
Yeah.
It's that you'll get much more speed and skill trying to overpower the brute force,
right.
Which it's fun.
It's a great contrast.
Yeah.
The big man, little man tag team has been a thing since the 1970s, 60s. You get this big honking dude, and then you get a little dude who's really, really fast, and they go do some damage. Think Batista and Rey Mysterio from the early 2000s.
Yeah. And a comment that I forgot from our Crown Jewel review last week. I really wanted to see Cena hit that 619 against AJ. I wanted to see him pull it off. That would have been great.
That would have been great. That's a hard move to pull off, especially for somebody of Cena's size. It definitely would have been nice to see Cena hit a 619. All right, so we're going to move from there on over to the show that this segment is named after, SmackDown Alley.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk a little bit about what happened in the SAP Center in San Jose, a.k.a. the HP Pavilion, a.k.a. the San Jose Arena, a.k.a. I could go on and on. I actually looked it up the other day when I was watching SmackDown with your boy Cole, faded Uncle Cole. And they, we looked it up. Like, how many different names did they have before they became the SAP Center? I wanted to ask also, what the hell does SAP stand for? But
it's the name of the company.
Warren.
Yeah. Warren Sapp. No, that's with two P's. I know. All right, so Raw took an interest, or not Raw, but SmackDown was interesting. And when I say that, I say that in sort of a good way and sort of a bad way. Because I don't understand why they did what they did, but I'm always one to wait and let the story play out to be whatever it's going to be. We opened up with, what was it, the women's tag team match between Charlotte Flair and Lexi and Saul, Roca, and Zarya, which I like that team as well. But, of course, the Queen and Blissy got the victory. And what was a really good match. Left me wondering why so many people look at WWE and say, that's not professional wrestling. Even though I'm about to make a point right now. I know WWE prefers it to be called sports entertainment. But at its purest definition, any wrestling that you do inside of a ring, pro wrestling that you do inside of the ring, and you are paid money for, makes you a professional wrestler. Because that's the only thing that professional wrestling is about. It's two people being paid in the ring. So it's professional wrestling. Stop trying to geek. Anyway, but yeah, so that tag team match was pretty good. Those girls really gave us a show. The Motor City Machine Guns, I mention this to people all the time. I don't believe that they're being wasted. I believe that the WWE crowd doesn't understand what they're saying. That's why the Motor City Machine Guns seem to get these lukewarm responses. There's not a lot of people in the crowd old enough to remember their heyday with TNA. When they were basically one of the best tag teams in the world, and they still are. But I don't think enough people within the WWE universe know them for them to get the reactions that they deserve as future Hall of Famers. I'll say the Wyatt Six again confronted the MFTs as Solo and the MFTs came in and beat down Sami Zayn and his opponent, who we'll talk about a little bit later after the U.S. title match. The Wyatt Six were surprisingly the ones that came to the rescue with Bo Dallas giving a quick promo before. Here's the thing that's throwing me off. What's going on with Bo Dallas? Because this is the second week in a row in which the Wyatt family has confronted the Wyatt Six have confronted the MFTs, and it's Eric Rowan, Joe Gacy, Dexter Lumis, and Nikki Cross. I get it. Nikki's one tough bitch, but what? Where's Uncle Howdy at? That's who should be facing off with. But I can't wait to see these feuds, these two collide. Maybe it's in a Survivor Series match at Survivor Series. Maybe it's in a War Games match at Survivor Series. That would be interesting. And then that leads me to a question of who would the Wyatt Six pick? Is there extra dude? Because you can't put the four of them and Nikki Cross in there against the MFTs. That's just not fair. So they got to bring in another dude. All right. Now, the biggest spot of the entire show was this. Sami Zayn is no longer your United States champion. And Faded Uncle Cole called it. First, Sami came out for his open challenge. And The Miz came out. And was like, I'm going to challenge you, da, 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 da. And while he's in the middle of talking shit to Sami, Carmelo Hayes beats his ass from behind. And I know that sounds worse than what it was. And takes him out. And as soon as they get out the way, out comes, I don't know if you remember him, David. I don't know if he hasn't really been around since you really started watching, but Ilya Dragunov.
The name sounds familiar.
Former, wasn't he an NXT UK champ?
Who?
Dragunov.
Yeah.
Former NXT UK champ. Had a great run, and he's definitely hard-hitting style of wrestling. Comes out, and him and Sami give us, screw Dave Meltzer, they give us a 5-star match. They give us everything you could have wanted in a match. And again, Sami Zayn is no longer your United States champion. I was mentioning to my friend Matt, when people do open challenges, with an exception for John Cena, they normally don't last that long. They're normally only champion for about 4 to 6 weeks before somebody comes out and beats them for the title on an open challenge. I thought it was a great way for Sami to give the belt a little bit of elevation and then turn it over to a younger athlete. The thing I wanted to talk about with this win before we get to the finale and the weirdness is that according to everything I'm hearing from all the different sources that I read, the dirt sheets and all that, it was Sami Zayn's idea to drop the belt to Dragunov upon his return. That there is the sign of an actual locker room leader. Not only is he willing to drop his belt to a younger talent, but he requested to do so. So congratulations to Dragunov. I hope his title reign is long, and Sami can go on to fight in solo and NFTs every week like he does. Now, finally, the weird part.
Mm-hmm.
At the beginning of the show, they tell us that the matchup between Drew McIntyre and Jacob Fatu in the main event is now going to be a number one contenders match for Cody Rhodes' WWE Championship. Fast forward to right before the main event start, and I said this last night, Friday night, I'm going to say it again, or no, Saturday morning, they gave my boy the Brock Lesnar treatment. For those of you who remember back in the Attitude Era, I think it was Brock Lesnar or it was Big Show, one of the two. But they got attacked backstage and they were found with one of the Titantron tower things, like laying on top of it. That's how Jacob Fatu was found, with a piece of one of those little things laying on top of it and his teeth out. So needless to say, I thought Jacob was still going to wrestle the match just injured, but he never comes out. And instead, we get Drew McIntyre versus Cody Rhodes. I'm not sure if it was for the belt or not. They didn't really clarify. And Cody Rhodes gets himself disqualified and attacks Drew McIntyre, and we close SmackDown with a brawl between them. So I'm assuming now that Drew McIntyre is the number one contender. I don't know. But they left me confused at the very end of SmackDown. Because I genuinely wanted to see. I thought since they were in San Jose and Jacob Fatu is from the Bay Area, he was about to go over and become the number one contender. But I guess we're not ready for that push yet. All right, so that was Friday Night SmackDown. The last subject we'll talk about has to do with one of my favorite wrestlers and a man who is doing an excellent job starring as Sweet Tooth in the Peacock series Twisted Metal. The one and only Samoa Joe feels that he will most likely retire after his current AEW contract expires.
Yep.
If he does, the man should be a lock for whatever Hall of Fame you want to put him in. TNA, WWE, Pro Wrestling, whatever. Because he has been one of the best. He has a move that will probably be imitated but never duplicated in the Nope that a lot of people love and respect. For those of you who don't know what the Nope is, Joe will put his opponent into the ring or into the corner. They'll go for a jump, a dive, a body splash, and Joe just moves out the way before they even jump and just looks at the crowd and goes, no, we're not going for that. It's actually created one of the funniest moments I ever saw in AEW, where the dude jumps off, Joe moves, and you can literally freeze frame it and catch dude in midair with his hands in the air looking at Joe like, what, wait? And then he hits the ground. But yeah, so Joe, lots of great moments, from you winning the X Division title to you winning the TNA World Heavyweight title, the Samoa Submission Machine, your time with the Main Event Mafia. Your feuds with CM Punk and ROH, I've yet to ever see a Joe match that I didn't enjoy. So if he's going to have his last match in AEW, then I very well most likely will be tuning in for that. I normally don't watch AEW. I normally don't even mention it on the show. But if Joe's going to be wrestling his last match, I'll be tuning in for that. What are your thoughts on Samoa Joe announcing he most likely will retire?
I mean, I missed most of his career, but dude has definitely put in the work and the time to be at the level he was at. And I mean, even though it's a compound performance, where it's Samoa Joe's body with Will Arnett's voice, Sweet Tooth is still one of the best parts of Twisted Metal. He is just absolutely spectacular, and it's a great combination of writing, voice acting from Will Arnett, and physical acting from Samoa Joe, which is not always the easiest thing to do.
Yes.
Where you've got to convey what someone else is saying through your physical actions.
Well, I forget who it was that told me, but Joe is actually underneath the mask. He's actually mouthing lines to try to keep pace with where his body movement should be when
right. But I mean, it's also like, James Earl Jones will always be Darth Vader, but David Prowse also deserves credit for the physicality of the actions that he brought to that role, even though if you couldn't see it.
He was the one that actually did all the lightsaber battles because he was actually the one behind the, behind the mask.
Yep.
So, yeah, but congratulations, Joe. Like I said, I hope you get a great run at the end.
But that's going to be, Cena's out this year. AJ Styles is out next year.
Yeah.
When is Samoa Joe's contract with AEW up?
I don't know, within the next couple of years. So he'll be.
And then, like I said, Punk's probably going out in the next year or two as well.
What's up, Tab Up? Chris 1121. Thanks for tapping in. We appreciate you joining us.
Hey.
All right. So that will do it for SmackDown Alley. We'll move forward after we finish answering this question. In the 1999 movie Sixth Sense, what detail throughout the movie suddenly indicates that Bruce Willis's character is dead?
There's a couple of possibilities.
Okay.
The only characters that actually address Bruce Willis when he's in the room, besides Haley Joel Osment, no one else actually looks at him or interacts with him when he's in the room. Okay. And then also the presence of the color red.
Okay. The answer we were looking for is objects associated with him, particularly the color red, symbolize a connection to the spirit worlds, and no living person except Cole directly interacts with him.
Yep.
Got your answer. There you go. All right. Now we move into Tech Tinker's favorite part of the show, and that is... All right. So, first thing I'm going to say before we jump into actual video game talk and the final pop culture quiz for today is that I have been introduced to a thing called a Corvette in the No Man's Sky. And yes, I'm becoming obsessed with this game. These things are beautiful. I'm playing it with Suave from the classroom. And yeah, I built my first one yesterday, and yeah, the thing's like 2-3 decks, and it has a recessed cockpit. And it's just beautiful. And then he took me on this website where I found a bunch of ones that have been designed by other people that I could have built within my game. He's going to show me how. And I mean, they had everything. I'm talking about they had the frigate ship from Halo. They had ships from StarCraft. They had the Enterprise. They had the Nebuchadnezzar. They had like somebody had went through and designed these ships, and yes, they did a really good job. So, No Man's Sky, check it out again. But let's jump into this pop culture quiz here. The question is: in the 1994 movie Pulp Fiction, what specific brand of burger does Jules discuss in his Royale with cheese scene? I'm pretty sure you know the name of it. We'll get to that later. We're going to have you open up with this story, and that is EA appears to be banning Chronos users from Battlefield 6. Yep. Explain it to us like we're a child, man.
Okay. All right. So this has to do with Battlefield 6.
Right.
Okay. And Cronus Zen is a controller emulator. It's hardware, but it's programmable hardware. So it's a controller that you can have different profiles stored into. I mean, let's face it. There's really not much difference between the button layout for the Xbox controller, PS controller, Nintendo Switch. Two thumbsticks, four buttons on the right-hand side, D-pad on the left side, and then 2 triggers, 2 shoulder buttons. it's pretty much all the same. So what you can do is you can program this controller with a profile for for Xbox to play
Right.
when you're playing Xbox games on your PC. You can program it with a PlayStation with profile when you're playing PlayStation games.
Yeah.
Now, here's the problem: is that because it's programmable, you can also program in, first of all, what are called macros, which are short scripts in the game's programming language that, when I push this button, it sets off this chain of events.
Yeah.
So normally this is something for like MMOs where you chain together attacks. This builds up the energy for the next attack, which then leads to the next attack, and then, so you can program it so you start off and then it pauses.
Instead of you playing the game, it just allows you to write a script that plays the game for you.
Right, within certain limits. So it's like you do the main attack after the cycle for that attack finishes, the animation cycle for that attack finishes, it goes into the next attack, which then goes into the next attack for generally about 3 moves ahead. So it's not like you can plan everything out. But you can also load in exploits and cheats. So exploits are things like the infamous Bethesda console commands.
Tech Tinker's going wild in the what you call it.
Yeah, and Tech, tell us on the stream if I'm being incorrect on this, but or things that are in the game, like again with Bethesda, the gap spaces that you'll find between the structural polygons in the game, where you can fall underneath the world and, oh hey, I just fell. There's that shop and there's the hidden item cache for the vendor. I think I'll just go take all his items and money and not pick up any wanted art. So there are certain spaces, even still in Skyrim, where you can do that.
Mod it
Right.
like that.
But you can also load it up with cheats, like turning clipping off, which deactivates the collision detection, allowing you to move through walls or up to inaccessible areas. And of course, the ever popular and controversial auto aiming in a first-person shooter multiplayer. So Electronic Arts has had enough, and when their hardware for Battlefield 6 detects that you are using a Cronus Zen controller, your account's put in timeout for violations.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So this is hitting both legitimate users and cheaters. So there's a lot of mixed feelings about this in the PC.
Let's see why.
Yeah. So it is, it's the newest.
Big deal, but
yeah. And of course, they wouldn't need to do this if people would stop cheating in online games.
Yeah.
I mean, using an exploit, that's one thing.
Yeah.
Because everybody has access to that. Using macros, that's something else, because everyone has access to that.
Right.
People just don't have the time to, while they're in the middle of a fight, to type out the whole macro command to do it. So, it's both good and bad, as most mass bannings are. So, and already the Chronos Zen community, while crying about getting banned from Battlefield 6, they're being assured that the Chronos Zen programming community is already working on ways of evading the bans with Chronos Zen.
All right, here's one more answer.
It never stops.
To answer your question from earlier, he says, yes, that is correct, but it's awesome because EA wants Battlefield 6 to be a complete package that doesn't require updates to get off the cloud. That has turned out to be not what EA and other organizations were promised it would be.
Right.
That's the part that sucks about all that, right? All right, so on a downer note, I know after talking about EA, a downer note, we have the announcement of legendary Tomonobu Itagaki, the man behind Ninja Gaiden and Dead or Alive, one of my favorite fighting games, has sadly passed away.
Yes.
So,
and of course, all the casual US gamers know about the gentleman is that he was the master of jiggle boob physics.
hey, Dead or Alive did have some amazing, bouncing.
I was
very well done.
Yeah, I was joking that I'm still trying to find how to access the nude mod on Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball.
Yeah.
And for those of you who are wondering what the hell I'm talking about, there is no nude mod on Dead or Alive Beach Volleyball. It was an early joke, early in the origins of Xbox, that literally, if you took apart your Xbox controller, there was a hidden button under that cushioned Xbox logo in the center that if you pushed it and basically did like a Konami cheat code, it would unlock the nude mode in certain games.
Hey, idiots just unlocking or taking apart their controllers.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yep.
Well, I
destroyed my original Xbox controller trying to do that.
I'll say this, just since Agent K28 isn't here. Dead or Alive haunted him for a while because he couldn't beat me in the game initially. Kept trying. I think he got me like 1 or 2 matches here. He couldn't really beat me consistently. Then he was like, hey, I'm going to put up something of mine and you put up something of yours and we bet, and then I'll be able to beat you. All right, man. So now I have this amazing Temptation CD, right? That I still don't let Saint forget that I got it from him. So just another reminder on the internet in perpetuity of reminding him that he never beat me in Dead or Alive. But anyway.
Yeah, he was only 58.
Wow.
So not much older than us.
Not much older at all.
And it wasn't just Dead or Alive, but he was also the creator of he was also behind the Ninja Gaiden franchise.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Nice. Let's see. All right. So that closes out that section. The next one that's up is Dave. Tell us all about Fallout is getting an official Bethesda-backed exhibition complete with Easter eggs at the National Atomic Testing Museum in Vegas.
Yep, I've been talking about this the past 2 nights on my Fallout 76 playthrough, and if you guys aren't watching it on Fridays and Saturday nights, why not? But basically, the National Atomic Testing Museum in Las Vegas, the museum about the development and explosions of the atomic bombs in the Nevada desert, is going to have a Fallout exhibition where it's going to be examining Fallout's retro future vision, all things about those for atomic energy that Fallout talks about, along with a few Easter eggs in there. So I like the fact that Bethesda is getting all of the canon for Fallout, in a row. It's learning from the problems that Star Wars and Star Trek had with all these different interpretations in there. But let's see, reading more about it. This is going to open November 14th. So
Okay.
you spending Thanksgiving in Vegas, you can go take a look at it. The Bethesda back,
Fallout Vegas.
yeah, the Bethesda back exhibition will explore the cultural legacy of atomic history through the lens of the Fallout franchise. Will
Nice.
comprise objects associated with the game and the Amazon TV series inspired. I'm assuming they're going to have probably about a half dozen Pip-Boys, as well as that's the one thing that I would love for them to mass manufacture, were the Pip-Boy phone cases that were collector's edition for Fallout 4, I think it was.
Yeah.
It was a wrist shell where you could put your phone in before you lock it over, and you just use your phone normally, and it had a Pip-Boy interface and everything.
Nice.
Although there are schematics for 3D printing those for folks that want to do that.
Good.
Carry around their Pip-Boy on their wrist or their phone on their wrist. But yes, this compact yet powerful display will highlight the connections between real-world nuclear history and the imaginative storytelling of the video games universe. What's more, the museum will have Fallout-inspired Easter eggs throughout the main gallery space. And yeah, what's really kind of cool is when you look at the Fallout lore, they've been doing a good job of not discarding the lore of the original game or the first two games, because those were not done by Bethesda. Bethesda's done a good job of building off those two games lore, but not directly contradicting it. Like there was an article, there was an interview with Fallout's lead designers. I cannot remember his name offhand, where he explained that what we see in Fallout, the TV series, was not necessarily the sequence of events that he had planned. That China struck first with nuclear weapons because the United States was developing what's called the forced evolutionary virus, what created the mutants, the super mutants in Fallout, the big green Hulk guys. Those were mutated by this virus. And they were ignoring all the international sanctions against this kind of biowarfare. So China struck first, then the U.S. retaliated, leading to the world of Fallout. Well, in the TV series, and spoiler, we find out that at the end that Vault-Tec actually was pushing the tensions between the U.S. and China. They were manipulating world events to, one, sell out the vaults, and two, deliberately push the world into a nuclear confrontation, so that the only survivors, basically wiping the slate clean, but the only survivors are the ones that Vault-Tec preserved in the vaults. And they'd be completely used to all of Vault-Tec's products. Nuka-Cola, sugar bombs, everything that you find in the games is manufactured by the Vault-Tec conglomerate. And so Vault-Tec, they've got, a century or two of brand loyalty from the Vault Dwellers. Everything is to further Vault-Tec as the only manufacturer in the post-apocalyptic world for Vault-Tec's benefit and profit margin. Yeah, that's literally how cold and calculating Vault-Tec is in there. That is, I mean,
Right.
yeah,
That's some
it's,
cold. That's some bad Mama Jamma stuff right there.
yeah.
100%.
So yeah, it's going to be really great. And of course, we're sure we're going to find out more on Fallout Day broadcast, which is going to be in a couple days, October 23rd, the day the bombs fell.
David Bouncer. All right.
Yep.
That's it.
October
All right.
23rd, 2077 is when the war happens.
So 2 years and 4 days from now. Count it down, y'all. Set the time.
No, 77.
Oh, 77. So all right.
Yeah.
50. No, I'll be dead. I ain't true. I plan on living a while, but not that long. And no, I'm not transferring my brain into a robot body so I can live longer. I'm good. All right. So last subject for today, before we dive into some stuff that Tech Tinkers was talking about, is that the Sonic boss, the guy who's running the Sonic development right now, wants to give other characters the Year of Shadow treatment. And this particular writer, which is George Foster from The Gamer, hopes it means silver. They want to spotlight characters that have appeared in the Sonic movies, which is smart. Take advantage of the fact that they're all over the place right now. And Sonic is kind of regained popularity, like I told you guys about when I went to that Comic-Con and my daughter got to meet the guy that was the original voice in the game for Knuckles at the con, because with the popularity of the movies, the whole Sonic IP is kind of being reinvigorated right now. So we're looking at potentially more Sonic stories being told on animated and whatchamacallit too, for those who are interested in more than just the video games. All right, so this one is from Tech Tinkers in our comment section. Quantum computing, turning computing is complete, scaling down blueprints has begun. This is beneficial because items like your CPU and your PC or console will no longer require 65 watts to 20, but instead 1.5 watts. Optical connections are complete. Physical wire is not long required to carry a signal, and scientists have achieved being able to store memory and light. This is how components will soon require the power of an LED.
Yeah.
Talk to us.
So as I understand what Tech is saying, is optical computing is going to be coming our way. Is that on the Twitch channel or
What?
text
I pulled that off the comment section
of the TV
of our show. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Gotcha. Yes. I'm looking at it right now. So optical computing is something that's been worked out for a lot longer than people realize. Basically, the idea is everything that's stored on your drive, made up of bits, 1 or 0. These are the binary number system: 1, 0, on, off, and that's when you see the whole sequence of zeros and ones, the binary code. That's programming out and parsing out the information. So it's not like magnetic tape recording that puts the images in the waveform. It's all stored digitally. So how optical computing works is that the ones and zeros are translated to lights on, light off. So it's like optical Morse code.
Okay.
So this is a much, much, much faster way of transmitting information. in there,
So
especially.
basically, just being able to take, instead of having a thumb drive and having to stick it in, you just kind of you wave it over an optical thing that's spitting out the data, and it just boop, boop, and it picks it up.
Yes, because you're dealing with transmission of information at the speed of light rather than the speed of the particular medium, like the electronic silicone or the copper silicone gold medium. That's where that problem enters into. And with fiber optics, um, the transmission resistance through fiber optics is still, speed of light is so much faster that the resistance of fiber optic material is pretty much negligible in terms of transmission speed. Whereas the limitations of the physical transmission, that's
What's up, Wood?
more measurable impediment
Yeah.
to the speed of transmission. So yeah, and the next step is going to be quantum computing. But optical data storage has been worked on for a long time. I actually knew somebody who used to work for IBM back in the 80s, and IBM was experimenting back then with optical data storage, but using algae as the medium, transmission medium, photosynthetic algae.
So the response,
Huge. They were growing tanks of algae to store and transmit computer data, and working on it that way.
say, Tech Tinker says, one light it on, without light is off. That is how it started. Now they added capture terminals in between point A and point B to capture the light. Then they modified the light signal to different colors to be picked up by the terminal that decodes what color it is to determine the variable.
Right. And this is part of the way that what's called packet routing is done, is that this speeds up the packet routing concept if different colors are determining the sequence of where it's supposed to be going to, rather than having a source destination in every data packet that's being transmitted, telling it where it's going to go. And that's due to the nature of how the internet is built. One of my friends who had been on the internet back from the days of ARPANET in the 80s, okay, that's how long he'd been on. He had a maxim that the internet was designed to survive a nuclear war, and that's how it acts sometimes.
Really?
Yeah, because the data packet tells, when it goes from station to station to station to station to station, the header of the data packet is like the address on a letter. Okay, think of sending a letter. Okay, you put it in your mailbox. It goes from your mailbox to your local post office. It goes from that post office to a central distribution, which then goes to regional distribution, which then goes to the central distribution for its destination, which then goes to the post office that will take it to its final destination, which then goes to the final destination. The packet is the address on the letter that you send. And as it reaches each stage, the address tells where are you sending this packet next to.
Right. Okay.
So if it's not having to physically decipher the code, that's going to speed up data transmission in there. Because it's like the way that old-time phones used to be, where you had to call the operator, tell them what the number was, and they plug you in correctly on the switchboard.
Yeah.
So that's the operator is just all automated doing that as they transfer you from switchboard to switchboard to switchboard to switchboard until you get your final call connected.
All right, the two explanations given by Tech Tinkers is how you define the color red equaling 122221 example, but you can relabel red to 111 4 ones, like 8 twos and 4 ones, which increases the total amount of variables for faster and more detailed computes.
Right.
Because
colors in computer speak are hexadecimal, whereas rather than 1 to 10, it's 1 to 16. But after 10, it goes A, B, C, D, E, F.
It says, so going from a signal over a copper connection is done with a heat burst through the copper connection from point A to point B, and is why it can degrade over a longer distance.
Yeah.
You can define a heat signal by its temp, but it degrades rapidly. Light has more variables to define with adding color and lasts longer. So basically, it'll be almost a safer way to transfer data from one place to another without degradation of the actual data, without heavy degradation of the actual data, or almost anything. Okay. Well, we got as Wood said,
got figured out.
I'll say thanks for the contributions, Tech Tinkers. We appreciate it. As Wood said, that's above my school grade. I'm right there with you, bro.
Yeah.
But it was great to have the discussion. But
and this was me working off of 10 years ago, taking a couple of IT courses at community college. So
for sure. Well, I'll say, all right. So let's go to the final segment of the day, and that is and yes, Tech Tinkers, I agree. It is the future of gaming. So optical computing. Anything that can make it go faster and smoother, right? All right. So where can we find you next, Mr. Wormschreier?
I will be back on the night shift, going back into the frozen wilds of Horizon Zero Dawn, midnight Pacific time.
All right. And me, you can catch me in about 2 hours with the one and only lady, Miss O'Malley. And we'll be bringing you that good sports from a West Coast point of view. All right, so now the final pop culture quiz question, and we will close it out with this. Was in the 1994 Pulp Fiction movie, what specific brand of burger does Jules discuss in his Royale with cheese?
That would be the McDonald's Quarter Pounder.
But they were calling it, I believe, the Big Kahuna.
No, okay.
Whereas what's getting
when they're talking about
different scenes that
when they're talking about the difference between France and America, and Jules is talking about that. That's where the Quarter Pounder comes in, because their system, they don't know what the fuck a Quarter Pounder is, so they call it a Royale with cheese.
Right.
Okay. The burger in Pulp Fiction, the burger joint, is the Big Kahuna burger.
Okay.
Which every so often we get pop-ups of Big Kahuna burgers and Jackrabbit Slims.
For sure.
They're just around for like a couple weeks or so, and then that's it. Sorry you missed it.
All right, y'all. So thank you, Dave, for joining us this week, for joining me this week again. And hopefully we'll have Saint back to round out the threesome next week. No, not like that, you sick-minded bastards. Anyway, this has been the Cheap Pop Podcast, and I want to thank everybody who tapped in, specifically Quarter Pounder, the metric system. All right, y'all blowing. Thank you, Wood. Thank you, Tech Tickers, for always keeping our comment section live. We appreciate it. And we will see you next week. Like I said, join me in about an hour and a half for the classroom featuring this week O'Malley. And y'all stay blessed, stay up. Go enjoy some football if you're watching it all. Peace.
Bye.